Hi, I'm Amanda Skelton, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you how to make this card. So this is sort of like not an easel card, just a normal card. But what I've done is just taken the sections out of each side just to give a bit more detail. So you've got a different pattern card here, and then this is where you can write your sentiment, and then it stands up nicely as well. So that's what I'd like to show you how to make today. We're going to be using the Cup of Tea bundle. So there's the matching dies and the stamp set. So I've used the dies for the flowers here and the cup and the tea bag. I've got another one here in a slightly different design. So there's a different design of greenery here. So yeah, so you've got options, and that can sort of literally fit in there like that one does. So that's what we're going to use today. So that's just to give you an idea of a different colourway. And then we're going to be using the matching Tea Boutique papers. So we've got two different designs there. This is another design that we're going to use for the card I'm going to make today. So I'm going to make a slightly different colourway. And these are the papers, which are gorgeous. As always, two-sided. So you've got a lot of papers here with teapots, teacups, lemon, so you can make it like a lemon or a herbal tea, floral, again, teacups, lots of nice floral ones as well. That's quite nice. That'd be quite nice for like Valentine's. So really nice papers. And then if I turn them over, you've got really quite nice neutral colours that will match with it. So I'm using the back side of that one to do the red that I'm going to do the colourway today. But you've got really nice colours that match to do a corresponding contrasting colour or design from the front page, which is really nice. Okay, so what do you need? So you need a piece of half a piece of A4 card. So basically a piece of A4 card cut lengthways. So that measures 4 1/8 of an inch wide by 11 5/8 of an inch long. But again, it's like I said, it's half a piece of A4, and then you want to score it 5 3/4 of an inch, which will be halfway, like that. Then you need a piece of DSP, so the pattern you want to use on the front section on here. That needs to measure 2 7/8 of an inch by 5 5/8 of an inch. Then you want 2 corresponding pieces of pattern paper. So that, like I said, this is from a different piece, but I want the red to go with the background paper. They need to measure 3/4 of an inch by 5 5/8 of an inch, and you want 2 of those. They're going to become the 2 sections behind here to coordinate. And then you want your white insert piece, and that needs to be just white card. That needs to measure 2 1/8 by 5 5/8. I'll just leave you the sizes here, so you can take a copy of that, and then we can move on. You want some scraps of white card to make for the sentiment and for your tea bag and for the detail here, and to stamp on your leaves as well. And you want some coloured card to match your paper. So I'm using, what am I using today? I'm using Sweet Sorbet is the red colour, and I'm going to be using the Parakeet Party as the green, for the greenery as my contrasting colour. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So first thing we can do is stick on our front piece of DSP. So this is all measured to size. Obviously, if it's directional card or a directional pattern, make sure you have it up the right way. I'm not being condescending when I say that. I have done it so many times myself. So you want to just make sure that's nice and centered and straight there. Okay, then you want to open it up. And again, this isn't directional, but if it was directional, obviously make sure it's the right way up. You just want to have a little bit of a gap from the side, and there'll be a gap top and bottom as well. Oh, come on, Beck. Come on, ink. That's not looking good. Let's use another one of those. That's better. So I'm just using permanent double-sided tape, and then I'm going to place that one on that side. And the second piece. Right, I can feel that there's some that's gone just over the side, so I'm just going to use my finger and I'm just going to do that, and it just makes sure that the glue doesn't go on the front side and won't adhere to the inside of the card or the envelope coming to that. Okay, and then when we put the inside piece in a minute, you should have a little bit of a gap either side between the side panels and that panel there. Okay, but we'll do that one in a minute. Okay, so we've got our main card there. It will stand up. You can use this design, this actual style of card, for a lot of different designs with different patterns and different themes, but it's a really nice one just to have a bit of contrast and just something a bit different. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do then is, before we stick this in, we need to, so as you can see in here, I've just done a little bit of detail in here, it just finishes it off nicely. I'm going to do something slightly different on this one. I'm going to use the, oh, I've got too many bits and pieces, I keep getting it all cluttered up. Okay, so I'm going to use this leaf on this one, and I'm going to use a little flower as well. So using the parakeet party, I'm going to just do a leaf up here, and you don't have to have it fully in, you can have it just sort of slightly going off. It just, sometimes it makes it a bit more finished when it looks like it's going off the edge. And I'm going to use the sweet sorbet, which is a really nice sort of pinky red, really. There's real red, which is a bit more darker than this, but it's just a really nice. And I think I'm just going to put some flowers on there. I think that's enough. Again, just to add a little bit of detail on that. Right, let me just clean off. Don't know if you've seen these before, but this sponge for cleaning your dies, your stamps off, is brilliant. I keep it in a plastic, like a Tupperware box or a takeaway box, and if I put the lid on, it stays damp for ages. All you have to do then is wash it out with some soap and water, the actual sponge. So that's good. Okay, so that's the inside done, and we can stick that in. Okay, so let's just make sure that matches at the bottom and is centered up there. Okay. So there you go, that's our insert done already. It's just really nice detail just to add in, and you've still got space to write your sentiment. Okay, so now time to decorate the front. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the cup, because where the cup goes we'll just tell where everything else is going to go. So I'm using 2 dies. So there's the solid die, which is going to be used on the colour card that I want to contrast on here, and then this is the detail die for the top layer, which I'm going to do in white. So that's just going to be the detail there. So let me just go and get my cut and emboss machine. Okay, so oh dear, I didn't clean up last time from myself, did I? Okay, so let's do the cup there, and let's be adventurous and let's do this one as well. That will just about fit on. So I'm going to put my top layer on. Get them both cut at the same time. we've got our base, and then we've also got our, there's my pokey tool, and then we've also got our top piece as well. So you can see this one here. So I need to poke all those pieces out in a minute. Okay, so that'll be that layer. Right, we'll come back to that in a minute, because we'll need to do that after we've done a bit more stamping. So, next thing we want to do then is some detail and a sentiment and our time for tea and some flowers. So on the stamps, you've got this stamp, and you've also got this stamp, which has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers all on one stamp, and it looks like this. So if you weren't going to cut them out, you can just stamp this one and stamp the flowers straight over the top, and then they sit on the actual flowers. But the actual die for the greenery won't include the flowers, so I'm die cutting this, so I shall stamp them and die cut them separately. But if you don't want to do any die cutting on that at all, and you're just going to put it onto a base piece of card, you can just do the 2 lots of stamping and don't have to die cut anything. Okay, so we need some more white card, and we're going to do some greenery. So these are going to be my, that just about fit in there. Let's do it that way instead. Okay, that's for that one. And then I'm going to do flowers in the red. And when you die cut the flowers, it actually die cuts the flowers individually. So I'm going to put those there, because that'll be a separate die. And then I want to put in, so this stamp here is the edging. It's the little edge to the tea bag here. So I'm going to do that in red. Put that one there. And I tend to do the edging before I put the sentiment in the middle. I just find it's a little bit easier to line it up. So we've got a tiny little die, not a die, it's a stamp, called Time for Tea, and I just need to make sure it's that way up. And I'm just going to centre that inside there. Okay, so that's going to be one die cut for that. And then we want a sentiment. So I am going to do thank you. I've done happy birthday on the other ones, but I'm going to use the thank you from this set, which is quite a nice script actually. So I'm going to do that one on here. And I'm going to do that in red as well, I think. And with that one, I'm just going to fussy cut it. Okay, so let's get rid of all of that. So now we can do some more die cutting. So we need, and it's up to you if you want to do these individually or if you want to do them in one go. Depends how confident you are. So we've got the die for the green leaves. I think that's about right there. I'm going to do that one separately because I can see it keeps moving. that's the greenery. Then we want to do time for tea. So we've got this little die here, which is really nice for the tea bag. That's our tea bag done. And then the final thing to die cut are the flowers. Now, when I stamp that, if you're going to stamp it and die cut it, because this stamp itself is quite easy to move like from the position, and because you need to have them in the right place when you die cut them, what I do is when I've placed the stamp on there, I get the die and I just make sure, see it's going to go that way, make sure that they sit over. These two often go out of position, but I basically just hold this above it and I manipulate it so that I know that when I stamp them, they're going to be in the right place to die cut them. She says, let's see if that actually works, shall we? Hopefully it will. Okay. So. Let's just get those in position. Okay, that's about right. And just place that on top, hopefully that hasn't moved. Now I don't know if I use all the flowers. No, I do use all the flowers. But if some of them don't come out quite right, you can always either die cut some more, or you can, well there you go. So they've come out quite well there. Okay, so let's just get those 5 off. And I shall need those in a minute. So that is all the die cutting we need to do. So we can put that one away. So we now have all of our pieces to decorate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, so let's just take out the rest of these pieces of detail. Such a nice detail actually, and on the is it Starry Sky, which is quite a nice purpley blue colour. That looks quite nice and quite Wedgwood actually, as would it with this blue as well. It looks quite nice actually. That is the Starry Sky. It is quite a nice sort of Wedgwoody sort of design. So first thing you want to do, get some liquid glue and glue the white section on top of the card below. So I'm going to use liquid glue here just so I can do tiny dots. Just put some, oops, that's a bit much. So just put some dots around so that it can sit on there, and then just offer it to the background card. And just make sure the edges meet the edges, don't overlap. It doesn't matter if the glue splodges out a little bit, it dries clear. Okay, so we'll just let that dry a minute. And then while we're doing that, we can glue on some flowers onto here. Again, I can just use the liquid glue. Doesn't really matter where you put the flowers. So let's just put some glue on there. Oops, that's not quite where I wanted it. So I'll put one there. One there. Oops. One up there. Fingers have got glue on, that's the trouble, and now it's sticking to everything that I try and touch. One there, and then we'll just put a final one down here. Let's put a dot of glue on there rather than on, I see I'm sticking to everything. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, so I'll let that dry off as well. And then what we're going to do with this one, so you want to get some really thin, so just to make it look like it's actually a tea bag coming out of the tea, I've just used a piece of linen thread, which is really nice. It's perfect for this actually. You probably need about, that's centimetres, you probably need about 3 inches, 4 inches, depends where you want to place it on. So I'm just going to cut a piece off, and I'm going to use some sticky pads because I want it to be raised up. So I'm going to use sticky pads to raise this up, and I'm going to use sticky pads to raise the sentiment in this up as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the sticky pad to glue or to stick that to the actual, so I'm going to do that. Then that's going to stick it to the card, and it's going to stick the whole thing to there. So that sorts that one out for me. So what we're going to do then is work out where you want to put it on the card to see what length you want in a minute. So we'll do that in a minute. But the next thing we can do is we can fussy cut. Where have I put it? Where have I put my other piece of paper? Oh, there we go. We can cut out our sentiment. So I'm just going to roughly cut a piece out like that, and then I'm just going to sort of go quite rounded, and it's just quite nice to have some detail. So you know, you can put this into a circle, or you can put it into a square die cut or something if you want to, but it just makes it a bit more interesting to, and just try and get a bit more detail and shape rather than just doing straight lines, and then come into there and then come back out again. Just add some detail. There you go, and that's a thank you. Actually looks a bit like a heart, doesn't it, like that? So yeah, so that's all of those pieces done. So this all should now be pretty stuck together. So we've got our card base. So just want to work out where you want to put that. I don't know why, I just seem to always go on the left angle with that. You want to make, it doesn't matter actually if this goes over the side. In fact, it might even look quite nice because you've got that background, so it actually might look nice if it overlaps a little bit, which you can do. So long as the whole thing can go in the card, the envelope, then that's fine. So I might do that a little bit overlapping. And then I'm going to have the thank you over there. And then the tea bag I'm probably going to have coming down here somewhere. So long as you've got enough thread, I'm just going to cut that down a little bit. So that's going to go down there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a similar thing as we did before, and we're going to put some sticky pads again on the back of the teacup. So I like it to sort of look like it's coming from the back of the teacup, which is this side. So let's do that there, and then I'm going to put 3 more pieces on. And then I'm going to put a actually I've got a very thin piece there. A very thin piece I'm going to put around the handle. Okay. So let's work out where we've got that then. So I'm going to keep that in place. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to glue this one into place and just slot it underneath. I'm going to have that overlapping, so I'm not going to put glue on the very far side of that one, but I will on the rest. And I'm just going to keep that in place, and I'm just going to place that like that. And then this hasn't got glue on over here. Okay, so now we've done that, we can take the protective pieces off. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that the thread is in front. I'm just going to place that over the front so it lines up nicely with that. And because I've done that quite long, I'm going to actually do that quite a long way down here. So I'm going to take the protective strip off of that. And I'm going to do that one there. You might even want to maybe even do it like that. And then the last thing to do is, again, I think I'll probably cut one of these in half. I don't need all of it. I'm going to put a piece over there. And a piece there. And I think I've got another tiny slither I can put on as well. Put that one in there. Take the top pieces off. And I'm going to put it there because I think it stands out the most there. There you go. There we have a really nice card. Using the teacup, what's it called? The cup of tea bundle and the papers, which are gorgeous. I've got that detail inside, and actually I really quite like that going over the side. It just adds a bit more detail. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that. Like I said, it's the cup of tea bundle. If you're interested in looking at that, it's in the annual catalogue. And as always, you can find it on my Stampin' Up website, which is www.amandascraftedcards.stampingup.net. You can find me on Pinterest and Facebook and YouTube as Amanda's Crafted Cards. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave a comment if you have, and hopefully see you for the next time. Take care. Bye.